Three, two, one.
And we are live Sunday night with those guys. And Sunday night with those guys is sponsored by
Those guys. What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? How are you, Herman?
I'm good.
How's everyone? How's everyone in the chat? Max Air, Welsh Rob, um, Classic Ron, who was there yesterday, UFO Tim.
What's up?
Who else is there? The Flyby guys, Johnny Drone Flyer. What's up, everyone? And how the hell are you? Happy weekend or happy end of the weekend and the beginning of the new week.
Yes.
But what's up, Herman? How are you?
I'm worn out from yesterday.
Dude, I understand totally what you're saying. Johnny says it's raining down in Florida. Chris Redgeworth, how are you? And welcome to Sunday Nights with those guys. I'm exhausted too, man. I slept. I was supposed to watch the McGregor UFC fight last night, and I made it up to the point where the young lady caught the gash on her head that looked like a third eye. And then the match immediately after with the two guys, there was a white guy and a black guy fighting. I couldn't tell you what their names were. All I know is I looked this way, I was out.
Well, I was nodding out on that fight with that girl, the one who got cut. And funny, her last name is I.
Exactly. Her last name was I.
I was not that. I just couldn't make it no more.
If you didn't see the UFC fight, guys, go back and watch the replay of the women's fight. Then they did a little head bunt, and it looked like when they dried it out and stuffed it with Vaseline to stop the bleeding, it looked like she had a third eye in the middle of her head, or at least another mouth, a small cartoon mouth. But it was good.
Yeah, it was good. But yesterday, man, I got to meet a lot of guys. A few guys, they come into the chat. Hey, who's there? Welsh Rob. Who else is? Anybody here that was there yesterday?
What's up, Iceberg?
Came through Drone Bum.
Yeah, did anyone actually see the fight? Because honestly, I could not do it. I tried my best. Click that like button, guys, so you don't have to do it. Yeah, Connor broke his ankle. Luckily, you didn't. Connor broke his ankle. Man. So what happened? Somebody let me know what's happening in the world of UFC. I'm mad. I fell asleep, but Herman and I, those of you who didn't know, it was those guys' first barbecue / meetup of the year. Barbecue. Yeah. And we had a barbecue. Ray Kelly was there. Okay, let's go. Ray Kelly, Drone Bum was there. JSK came from New Jersey. Drone Psych.
Yeah.
You guys may know him. He came. Carlos. He's an NYC 5-borough drone meetup. Carlos came. We had Anthony Charles, Justin Mikey Adams. I'm trying to Deneen. She came. JSK came with his wife. Who else? Eddie Nunez.
Eddie Nunez was there. You said Drone Psych, right? He was there.
Yeah, Drone Psych. I'm trying to think of everyone. Hey, what's up, Paul? Paul said, great day yesterday. Thanks again, dude.
Hey, Drone Bum, what's up, man?
We're still tied. It is. You're right, Dan. Drone worship. It's that time of the year. We didn't have a whole lot. Like we said, we just had a few beers. No, I wish we had a few beers. No,
we had bottled
water, a couple of cans of soda, mostly bottled water to stay hydrated.
And we just had some burgers and some hot dogs.
And a couple of guys brought their own beer, which I highly appreciate, because if you go to a barbecue and you like beer, that's what's up. And they kept it very cool. It was clean. We left the park. The park was spotless. There was no mess. Yes, UFO Tim, we did have a really nice day, man. I have some pictures here. If you give me a second to pull them up, I have some pictures of some of the guys. Now, don't mind some of the shots. They're not all perfect, but I did. Hold on. Here's Tom. Hold on. Let me cancel that share and get Tom in here. All right, Tom's coming in. Let me go to share some of these pictures on screen, share screen. And hey, what's up, Tom?
Hello, Tom.
I think his audio is just clicking in. But
Yeah.
this was after Drone Bum had got there. We were already there. There were quite a few people there for a while. This was, of course, when Ray got there. He was the first one there, I must admit. What's good, Tom? You don't have video, but I'm sure you have audio. There was Tom showing his all-purpose drone in a box bag because it fit everything but several drones.
Right.
It had a drone camera. That bag was impressive. Yeah.
Right now, what's showing is the screen,
Wait a minute.
the studio
sharing.
screen, what you're sharing.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. I'm sorry about that.
Go
I
to-
apologize. I'm sitting here like reminiscing from yesterday.
Go to
And
the
here
picture.
we go. Here we go. I got it now. All right, here we go. That's there. I'm sorry about that, guys. Ray wanted to take a picture. Ray was all over the place. I give him a great guy to hang out with. He had a ball. I know he did. He got to fly before everyone got there. This is the bag. This is Tom's infamous carry-on bag. It's a greedy little bag, man. He kept pulling stuff out of it, pulling stuff out of it.
What do you have there? What, 3 drones?
He might have
2 drones, a full frame mirrorless camera,
yeah,
lenses,
right.
and
Batteries.
all the controllers, all the batteries.
Oh, there's Drone Psych right there with his lady friend Carlos. There's Paul. There's Tom getting ready to fly, and Ray Kelly right under, of course. But we had fun. We did have fun. Everyone got to relax. Everyone got to fly. Everyone got to eat a little something.
There's Justin.
Herman did his thing. JSK in the background there. He traveled all the way from New Jersey. So we appreciate that very much, JSK. I don't know if he's in the chat because I can't see the chat. But Herman
Ray Kelly's in the chat. What's up, Ray Kelly?
Ray Kelly, what's good, man? Oh, I did catch his drone flying by.
Hey, Joe,
They were flying FPV. They were flying DJI FPV. They were flying DJI drones. Everybody was doing something at some time and point there, if they weren't eating or drinking too. Eddie Nunez, there's Ray Kelly and Drone Bum sitting there talking because some guys, we forgot to mention, there was a meetup before ours, right, Herman? And
yeah, there was came over meetups that day.
Anthony Charles, this gentleman right here, if you want to see some nice work, I started getting into drones because of this guy. He lives out in my, he flies out on my peninsula because he comes out there to work out. But when I started getting into drones, I started following this guy, Anthony Charles. His name is Invincible Storm. Please go check out his page. He has his YouTube channel. It's Invincible Storm. He has a lot of great work on there. There was some
Justin
again. There's Courtney Darlington. We came up with the move, with the maneuver, with something called the Courtney. And what it is when you have goggles on, somebody comes up and makes a funny face or acts like they're about to kiss you. So now we started calling that. Thank you, Courtney Darlington. He comes into the chat as CR Darlington. So now we say you've been Courtneyed. Ray Kelly running around with the vlog camera. Tom's flying a single stick bird. Courtney Darlington, Eddie Nunez, and this is Tom. This is Tony Bellissimo, Victor Perez, and Deneen in the corner there. Everybody was doing something. Drones were all over the place. As you see, it was kept quite orderly. We had fun. There's Classic. There's Ron. I tried to get him to turn his head, but the force wasn't working. You guys know these two guys, Justin and Herman. And there's Captain Ray Kelly. This man is the Energizer Bunny of the day. He was all over the place. Yes, man. He was mingling with people. He was sitting down. Every time you saw him, he was someplace else. Hold on. What's happening here? You guys still see pictures, right? Oh, there's JSK.
All
He
right.
came all the way from New
Yes,
Jersey.
okay.
So we appreciate that, but that's pretty much it. I did have some more pictures, but I still have some stuff to take off the camera. What's up, Tom? How are you?
How's it
Good,
going, bro?
guys. I wasn't sure I was there with your opening intro. It was like I wasn't even there. Good thing there were photos.
This is true. Tom did do a little question and trivia thing there. We gave out shirts from Ray. Ray Kelly had some shirts, Capture Life Connection, Stevie Bronx. Tom, we're giving out stickers and stuff like that to the guys. They had a little question and answer thing there. Also, Tom donated some stuff to be given away on the stream. So he just says, I'd like to remind everyone to come to this meetup. Not faint of heart. These are true Sunday guys going all out. Well, you know what? I appreciate that, Dan, Drone Worship. And Ray Kelly, I'm glad you had such a good time, man. Seriously. I'm seriously. He
Ray,
got
it
there
was a
early.
pleasure.
He got there
Everyone
early.
there. Everyone.
And he was there early, the first one there, because it usually you check out a site to go where you're gonna go fly early. That's a smart thing to do. But he got there early and was like one of the last to leave. And JSK was also one of the last to leave. They helped Herman and I, Ray Kelly, JSK, both helped us put the tents down
Yeah.
after everybody left.
Everything. Throw it all
I
in
had
the
to split, guys. I had another commitment. But New York was well represented. So yesterday, Tony Balsimo paid us a visit, which was great.
Right.
Serviceman from the UK. Those of you that know him
Corey.
as the founder of Freedom Drones
Mhm.
and the International Photography and Videography groups up on Facebook. So it was great to have Tony in town. So actually, the festivities started with a 4 a.m. meetup
Yep.
in Brooklyn Bridge Park by our own Stevie Bronx,
And
Capture Life
Deneen.
Connections,
And
and
Deneen.
Deneen Pagan. And then the meetup at Transmitter Park in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, I was able to attend with,
Right.
Anthony Charles, through that for Tony.
And then they came to
We
ours. So
had
they had
Deneen come
ours
over,
was the
and
third
then
meetup.
Jose Vargas and quite a few others. And I, of course, made sure to invite them over to Calvert to continue flying. And it was a good time. Good time yesterday. Good time.
You're trying to get Tom in trouble, Dan. You see
What
what
did
Drone
Tom do?
Worship put?
No, I'm not even watching the chat. I can't even focus on one thing today.
Hey, Michael Blades, what's up? I hope all is well with. He's on vacation somewhere as well. Michael Blades is. I can honestly say I'm still tired from yesterday, but
Yeah.
I missed the McGregor fight. I tried. You see Ed Norton and Ralph watching the black and white TV, and I was like,
You mean the one when
I
they went
just
in?
couldn't, man. I couldn't
Yeah,
stay
it was.
There on the television. I was
yeah.
nodding like that too. Fast.
Yeah. So just to answer Drone Worship, my side chick's name fortunately has the same name as my main squeeze. So that keeps it as simple as possible. Okay.
Hey, very. Yes, we'd like to thank everybody. Seriously, we really had fun, and I had more fun.
Thanks, Eddie. Thanks for showing up, bro.
Eddie Nunez.
Eddie Nunez, what's up, man?
Everybody
Eddie,
who
thanks
came
for
through.
supporting, man.
Yes, everyone who
Thanks
came
for coming
through.
out, Eddie.
Even though we started a GoFundMe site for Eddie, it's called Buy Eddie an Alarm Clock. So, that call comes in from Eddie. It's while you're at the meet. Okay. He just got up.
That's
He's on the
what it
way.
is.
Yeah.
That's
But Eddie hit that one up, and then he hit us up. So really appreciate it, Eddie.
That's, hey, show, what's good, man? How are you?
What's up, man?
Well,
I thought
I
Eddie
can
was
never-
that guy that got up first
Uh,
for the meetup.
right.
Okay.
Eddie
You keep
used to
thinking
be
that.
Eddie used
No,
to
no.
be the one that would having 6 o'clock meetups.
Okay, you keep thinking that. I've waited in a parking lot or two. I'm just saying. Okay.
Oh, that's what it is, Eddie. You plan to meet up and don't get there until you're sure
No,
everyone
no,
else
Eddie
is
gets
there.
there. Eddie gets
No,
there.
I know. I
I
know.
just get that. I just get that pin from him a little late in the game. That's all.
Oh. Hey, Paul, I hope you, Paul, you, Leonard, you, Ray Kelly, how was your trip back home? I hope it was smooth and safe. Because I
Yeah,
know Ray Kelly had
looking
like
at
the
that
furthest to
traffic.
travel.
Oh
I'm
man, I
like,
zigzagged across Brooklyn, and that was early. I had to leave you guys a little bit on the early side. So,
Mhm.
and man, I had to jump off at Coney Island Avenue, headed east, and I had to zigzag across to the Old Kings Highway up.
well, where
We
we
took
were
Kings Highway, not N.
when
Well, I
we
took
left,
it all the way up to Rockaway, and then sailed my way up into the East New York area.
I felt
from
so
there.
sorry for those of you who had to take the Belt Parkway east.
Oh man, it,
Because
it, it
that
was
Yeah, because it was tied up.
Yeah.
it was ridiculous. Today we were headed up to Westchester
Hey,
County. And
Chris,
by the
hope
way, guys, if you're ever in Yonkers and you're not from Yonkers,
Okay.
guess where you can't park? In any
In
of their
Yonkers.
parks. In
In
a
Yonkers.
single park.
Yeah, you
You
gotta have a
can't pull
permit.
into a park and park in Yonkers unless you're a Yonkers resident. So go figure that out. So
Where
that was
did
a
you
nice
park, on the street?
trip up there to go on a bike trail, an Empire State bike trail. I thought Empire State meant the entire state, but you know,
Right.
hey.
I thought so too.
So yeah, we wound up finding alternate parking. But on our way up, as we're coming up to Jackie Robin, making that quite entertaining turn there at the Q interchange, you know, the
Wow.
right-hand
I-
angle at 55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
We saw it the other way.
Uh-huh.
There was, by the way, if you have any Amazon Prime deliveries that are slightly delayed, I can tell you why. There was an 18-wheeler tractor trailer on the Jackie Rob, and he figured out just at the point of contact that he couldn't make the underpass, which was only, by the way, 10
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow. How the hell?
Where
Well,
did he find this out
he
at?
definitely
I
didn't
guess
know.
you know, the problem is you come over that. See, this is my rant, people. I'm sorry. This is the Tom is going to rant
Go
again
for it.
segment of the. This is where this city pays no mind to motorists. Okay, we're not a car-friendly city, by the way. And guys,
Hey, drone shots.
up your insurance, by the way, if you have to drive into the city. It's well worth it. They drive by feel here. So what was happening was this guy comes across the Van Wyck, right?
Mhm.
He's headed southbound. So all of a sudden they have the new ramp for the Jackie Robb Union Turnpike.
Right.
But when you get off of it, there's not a single sign and everything's merging. And this poor
Oh,
sucker
wow.
wound up with no way out.
So he
Okay?
got to the buildings?
He got to the overpass right there. You know that spot, Herman. Okay.
Wow.
Now the guy stopped. He did not crunch. The guy,
Right.
man, there was like almost zero daylight there because now
Hey, tell
everybody's
your wife-
rubbernecking.
Tell your
So
wife
I got
hello,
plenty
Leonard.
of time to see. He's got barely a hair between him and that overpass. He's at least 11.6, at least 11.6, if not higher. So, man, I can't even imagine what that was like. But all I know is 3 hours later, coming back that way, I took the chance and they had gotten him off. So congrats to NYPD Highway and whatever, that tractor trailer driver has to have a set of skills also to back up out of
All
throughout
the
that
way
mess.
back up
Imagine,
out of the
yeah,
Jackie
because they
Robinson.
probably had to
Yeah.
they had to shut down Van Wyck, and then they had to shut down the ramps from the Grand Central also going into
I
there.
wonder where they backed him to, because he had to go through that little.
He'd have to back him up and then put him on Union Turnpike and get him off there.
On the
That's the only
street.
place. Yeah.
Wow. That's
That's
crazy.
the only place they could get him off, So just, that's city traffic, man. And I heard coming back, there was an overturn on the Grand Central Parkway at the Whitestone Van Wyck Expressway exit,
What's up,
you know,
Bill? How are you,
headed
man?
Hey, Bill.
headed east. So yeah, so you guys who got stuck in that Belt Parkway traffic, I'm sorry, but welcome to New York City.
Yeah, yeah, and I see why people stay out on the island, away from the belt and the LIE and the Cross Island and
Some
all
of
of
those
that,
people are the
because
ones that get into
during
those accidents.
certain times of the day, you just should not be driving. I will admit it.
No,
So
no,
you
I'm going to
don't
tell
know-
you, there's certain times of the day none of these people should be ever on the road.
Yes.
Okay.
That's true. Herman
I
says
mean,
that every day.
they try to occupy the same space you have in the lane. Okay.
Right.
Now, physics right there is the problem. So that's why I say make sure you carry enough insurance on your vehicle,
Hey.
We went back
or
in that
be
direction.
able to do a
Yes,
100-yard dash in only a couple of seconds.
Hey, JSK. Thanks. Tell us thanks for coming out, and we appreciate everything. We appreciate you guys coming out and spending time with us at our little meetup and barbecue. And I'm glad she had fun.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
thanks.
yes.
Thanks. Yeah,
Yes,
that was
Leonard.
great. That was
And-
great. Ray, I didn't see that.
Ray,
So Ray
gotta
says
see Ray's
Virgin
video.
Atlantic, there was a drone circling the Virgin Galactic
Was
aircraft
this,
today.
it was probably a racing drone.
Very cool, but it was probably had permissions to do so, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah, I did not see it. I'm just hearing about it for the
Because that
first
was
time.
that's a yeah. Well, they'd still have to get FAA clearance for it, but that's at their airport.
Of course.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Ray Kelly's video of meetup?
From yesterday,
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look at anything yet.
Oh,
We
he
got a link for that?
put out a very good
It's up
video.
on his site.
It's up on
I could
my
actually
notes.
get the link.
YouTube.
I can actually get the link in it, the link for everybody. Drone Psych put out a video from yesterday.
Yeah.
Drone Bone put
Bone.
out
You
a
know
video
what?
from
Add those
yesterday.
into the notes. Add those into the
Yes.
notes afterwards so everybody can check them out, please. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys put
I
out
saw
videos
Ray's,
already.
I saw Ray Kelly's this morning, and then I saw Drone Psych had put out one early this morning,
Yeah, I
and
saw
then
his,
Paul
and then I
Drone
saw-
Bomb
Yeah, so that,
had put out
saw
his
three of
video.
them.
Yes, yes, I did watch all three of them, and we appreciate it
I know
ever so much.
Very,
Dee,
very well
Deneen
done.
posted a bunch of photos. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah, I was saying, Tom, they have a new one. You know how we named a maneuver after Elliot? Well, we named something after Courtney. And you know how they sneak up to you when you're wearing the goggles and make faces and stuff. So now we can
Yeah.
say you've been Courtneyed. I caught him back.
Hey,
And-
this
and
is a
he-
shot.
Yeah, he is hilarious.
This is a shot I took yesterday. If I could share it.
Oh,
Hold on there.
you should be able to. I'm sharing it. Yes, Ray is all over the place. Third eye view. What's good, man? Ray was all over the place yesterday, man. From beginning to end. He
It's a
sat down for
submarine,
about
not a
5
school bus.
minutes. He sat down for like 5 minutes or so to adjust. Oh, yes. Then everyone kept saying it looks like a school bus, but it's an actual submarine. You shot this picture yesterday, Tom.
Yeah, this was a shot I took yesterday. Again, I was showing Ray my altimeter was reading like -3 feet because
Right,
I was
because
remember
the was higher.
Drop below the
it's
shore
where
line.
we took off from, right? Okay,
Mhm.
Tom's tip of the week. Remember, your takeoff location determines your altitude on your telemetry.
Correct. You can
It
go
has no
minus.
bearing whatsoever on how far you are from the ground. So never think that it's ground sensing radar that's producing that number. It's not. It's a barometer. Okay. There's two of them
Yes.
actually in your aircraft normally, but there's a barometer in there. And the barometer is what is sensing the altitude. And that's based on where you took off from. So because where I took off from was about 11 and a half or so feet up, or actually higher. It would have to been higher because add another 8 feet there. So
Yeah.
it's almost a 20-foot drop to where I'm shooting right now. So always keep that in mind when you're, you know,
Hey,
trying
Sunrise,
to
how are you?
stay away from things you shouldn't be in, such as that water right there. So
Right.
Mr. Ray is a TV
Now,
show.
you
The
see
Adventures of
the
Captain Ray Kelly.
altitude that you were at there, Tom?
yeah,
Were you above that arm sticking up out of that barge or whatever the hell it is next to the sub?
no,
Okay.
no. So
That is the
that's
one
what,
thing that I always
yes,
worry about
yeah,
when going into that area.
Andy Taylor, how are you? Welcome to Sunday Night
absolutely,
with those guys.
absolutely. And so Herman, I'll tell you what I do. That's the first place I go to. Okay. And that I get my reading on. So if I have to back out, I also see, this is the other thing, guys. You have to try to be aware, okay, of what your
Sunrise Water Media.
attitude
What's up,
is,
man?
where you're facing. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's why we always tell people, right? Whenever you're taking off or landing, take off away from yourself, okay, and back into your landing. Not that I do that, but I'll say if you're starting out, you should, because this way,
I agree,
you
Ray.
maintain the relationship between what you're seeing and which direction, okay, your pitch and your yaw go. That means where your aircraft's going to go. You
Exactly.
got to make sure
Sorry,
you
Ray. I had to
understand where
insert
that
one
is.
to get it out
Because
the
as
way.
Herman was saying, I could have veered off and I would have smacked that piece of lumber that was sitting up it was about 12 feet away from where I was. Okay. So you just have to be aware of your surroundings also
Yeah,
when you're flying.
even if I know I'm going to do a quick descend, even before I descend, I tilt the camera down to make sure
Yeah.
there's no obstructions or something, because I know too many people out there fly and then they start to head down, or they want to drop incredibly fast. And if you don't know what's
Right.
below you, guess what? The sensors may stop you, they may not.
Uh,
But it goes to know your environment. And that's
so
what all
so
the,
just like any other direction of travel, Lawrence, that
yeah.
stop is the immediacy of that stop is relative to your speed. So if you're at full descent and you stop, make
Oh,
sure
yeah.
you're at least 3 to
Drone
4
bomb.
feet above.
He said he
Okay.
had lost his signal and got lost with the MA2 out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And we were
That-
having some signal issues yesterday.
because
No doubt
There were
about it.
two people that were
Too many
standing next to
guys
each other.
too
Ray
close
Kelly or
proximity.
someone. Ray Kelly also lost signal, but I think it was Ray Kelly. And I think JSK, they were both next to each other, but it had to do with
Yeah,
distance.
crossfire would have
Yeah.
helped.
You need
Leonard
to
says
like
he
that
got
10
some
feet.
footage of the Tom's questionnaire section. That was cool.
I'm
We
glad
have
you
it.
enjoyed it.
And
glad you
unfortunately,
enjoyed it.
everybody started leaving by the time we were ready to give out the other stuff. Because Tom left a goodie bag with a tiny whoop
Yeah.
drone.
So
And
we'll give that out, right, with other questions online. I think, Lawrence, when you're up to it, you tell
yeah,
us.
that would
We'll
be
set
good.
up some questions, and and Ray, I hope you and Johnny don't mind. We're doing a little format snitching here, okay? So we just we just won't do the roulette wheel. We'll hold
Paul,
off on that.
if it wasn't for return to home, we wouldn't all be flying DJI, would we?
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
Look,
that's
I
a
can't say
comfortable
anything
place
else.
to be, right, guys? I mean,
Listen,
hats off. Got to be a DJI fanboy for that one.
well, with that yesterday, I think it's because there's too many guys in too close proximity with
Well,
radios.
look, digital was stepping on analog. It's like the classic struggle.
No, that
Right?
even happened to them when they went over by the cutout across from the old barge, because they were standing too close together with the optic radios.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that happened with me and Ray. We were
guys.
standing too close.
Ghostbusters, don't cross the stream. Bad things happen, right? Okay. But you know what? Had such a great time with people, and that's the great
Yeah.
thing about the meetups, right? It's just like
yeah,
you have that common bond right away. The friendships just grow like immediately.
And
Out of
I
that.
would like to say,
So it's funny. That's like with
what's
Drone
that, Herman?
Bum. I've never met Drone Bum personally,
Oh, it's
but
nice meeting
like I
Paul.
know him for how long?
Yeah, yeah,
Just like seeing him for the first time, but like I knew him for so long.
yeah.
Right.
Ray,
Right.
thank you
And then
very
Ray
much,
Kelly,
Ray.
too.
So Ray is giving me kudos for the DJI FPV flying. Everybody was getting a kick out of the fact that I get a kick out of the motion controller. I've said that plenty of times, right? But what people are getting a kick out of is there I am standing, like I could be leaning against a street sign with one hand in my pocket and the other hand on the controller. I was out there to relax yesterday, and relax I did, man. I'll tell you, flying the DJI FPV, with that motion controller is very relaxing. I think, Herman, we gotta get you to try that on for size. Okay, that's a message from your local crack dealer.
But yeah,
Well,
Oh, and what about those tiny
JSK,
whoops? What about the
yeah,
boys
I
with the
was
tiny
I
whoops?
I
they
wanted
were
to
flying
mention
through
that.
everything. The people that were in the crowd.
Well,
the
hey,
road.
we got to up the insurance again. We had one hit yesterday. Remember?
No, we could have did a one shot.
We had a couple of hits. There were a couple of twists and
Oh, you were a magnet, man. Weren't you?
yeah.
You were a magnet. He kept on getting, getting some street hits from the
I want to give
tiny
some
whoops.
credit to Drone Psych. He did a video saying he shows him flying between
Between
around
all
people,
of us, right?
but he did it very slick. He had a camera drone and he went and he flew and he looked around at the park, and then he transitioned back to one of the tiny whoops. But you would be talking to someone that's like 3 feet away from you, and all of a sudden a tiny whoop would go
Think of it.
go by you, or you'd feel a breeze
You
over
know,
your head.
he got away with that for one reason and one reason only. We had no pets yesterday.
We had no
Yeah.
what?
Surprised. We had no
Okay.
pets there yesterday.
Yeah.
Because remember, with the pets, it's you have a predatory issue there, okay? So because there's been plenty of meetups, right? Where we
Mhm.
Pets.
have the pets out there, yeah.
We got to worry
Yeah.
about that with pets.
This is
Yeah.
true.
They
This
have a
is true.
tendency to want to eat those things. Thank you, JSK.
Oh,
And-
JSK.
Thank you.
There you go, bro. Thank you, man.
Yes, thank you so much, Leonard, for the super chat. Thanks for the
That was
fun,
great, man.
food, and good times, dude.
Yeah, I'm
you
glad
live
the
in-
family had a good time, man.
Yes, I'm glad, and I'm glad your wife had a good time. I don't know about your daughters because I know they were stuck in a car, but I'm sure if they had electronics, they were okay.
They were probably fine, right?
They did like most young children today, that you give them electronics and they can pass time by for hours. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Well,
Drone Life RC, how
Yeah.
are you, man?
We're these things are always family friendly too. So don't hesitate to bring out
Yes.
the families to these things.
Yes, and it doesn't, we don't have to have a meetup, Leonard. Also, if you say you want to fly and I'm available during the week, you can meet me somewhere, I can meet you somewhere, depending on schedules, etc. There's always someone flying in the 5 boroughs on a
Oh,
nice
yeah.
day. In fact, right now, I'm sure there's someone out flying that I'm sure that we know.
No doubt.
And now, hopefully you got added to those guys group. You can keep up with stuff there between Welsh Rob's page, Jackson RC's. There's something always going on, and somebody saying there's a meetup somewhere. Okay, we're gonna get into this first story here, which is kind of we talked about the United States and our children not being equipped or ready to handle what's happening in the world. Well, the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association Foundation, okay, they are
AOPA
AOPA,
member.
yes, they are getting into the STEM programs in high school, and according to this article, there is a shortage of technically inclined people for the future. And I'm not just talking about drones, but this story is about, right, vocationally. This is specifically about drones. And they're taking, AOPA is taking a leading role in educating pilots and supporting drone pilots, children, high school students. They're specifically focusing on high schools. You remember back in the day when you were younger, you had shop class or something like that? Well,
I
they
went to
come to
aviation
realize,
high school.
Yeah, exactly. So,
We
and what
have
were your
one in New
shop
York
classes
City. It's
like?
still thriving.
What
Aviation
was
high
your
school,
shop
and
class like, Tom?
my shop classes lasted for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours a day. And
Right,
we
but
still had a 2.5 hour academic load every day.
these are the
Uh,
things that you
yeah.
need though in high
Well, you
school again.
graduate with either an airframe, a power plant license from the FAA, or
Mm.
an applied physics lead into college. But then they have it what they call the extended 12th year. So students
Right.
that gain either an airframe, an A license, or
Hey,
a P
Matt.
license, power plant license,
Yeah.
get to compete to come back. They only have X number of seats. And then they get to do another 6 months and get the other license. So they would wind up coming out of high school with an FAA A&P license, airframe and power plant license.
Well,
Immediate hire by any of the top airlines.
that's what's
or the
up.
military. Absolutely.
Well,
So,
anyway,
and this is not, we're fortunate. We're in a large urban area, and we even have a aeronautical college by
true.
us too.
That's true.
But the thing is that these are things that are lacking across the country. Okay.
It is.
We used to
it
have a
is.
school
Right.
by us called Automotive High School.
Mm-hmm.
And they specialized, and those kids came out with what ASTME
they still do.
certifications,
Right.
and
They
it was like
they came out with the option of either going to college and furthering their education, or the option of actually, hey, maybe I want to work a little
earning.
while.
They
Earning.
still do, and Grady still has its programs too. But these programs
They're
have
limited.
they've been limited and dumbed down.
Yeah.
With cutbacks
Money.
Hey,
and
Drone
stuff like
Psych,
that
what's good,
Yeah.
man? Great video.
throughout the years, and we've covered stuff like this before, but on
STEM
the
and
college
STEAM.
level.
Yeah.
And I'm glad now that
Bring it down.
we're starting to see this now on the high school level, so is that we can start getting some of these kids into, because that sky is going to change in the next 4 years. We need to prepare the people who are going to work there,
Absolutely.
and deal with this, to be educated, and we got to start building it from the ground up. And I'm glad to see that somebody is putting something into the youth, to bring the youth and that interest into it, because a lot of kids like to play these video games, but a lot of these kids don't know how these video games that they're playing are made.
Right. They don't know
Right.
what it takes to make.
And
They don't know
making
what-
some
if
good
they
coin
can
on the other side.
educate some of these kids on these levels, I'm quite sure you would see a lot more of this stuff come back to the United States, and it would do so much great for this country. It's not funny. I don't mean to be political.
Well, we've been saying it.
It is what it is.
We've been saying it for a while, Herman and Tom, that our schools need to do this. And this STEM program, not only are they doing science and mathematics now, but this particular AOPA, okay, for those of you,
AOPA is a professional organization, been around a long
right,
time. I'm a
they
member
are
of AOPA.
focusing, they're basically focusing on developing critical thinking, collaborations, and communication skills. They're promoting science, technology, engineering, and math, which is their main part of STEM, but more so strengthen the STEM skills a student needs for the 21st century, which we are already in the 21st century. And
Well,
we're
we
just
gotta-
now-
You got to
Uh-huh.
take the stigma away,
exactly.
okay, from attending, from not attending college. College is not for everyone.
True.
Okay.
True.
And we should put the focus on advancing the individual's educational track, not the masses. One size doesn't fit all. You got to offer these programs at a much lower level. You got to get some of these programs down into the grade school level also, right? The grammar school level.
Well, that's what we were
Of course-
talking about.
Interests have to grow from these things.
Yeah, Tom, that's what we mentioned with that one school teacher who has the program with the drone soccer.
Yeah.
And teaching these kids how to, they have to learn how to build their own aircraft,
What's up, Jay?
do the maintenance on it to be able to keep it going.
Yeah.
To be able to participate. So these type of things, are good programs. But like I said, you have an organization now who is now starting to funnel some money into
That will help
future.
to bankroll some of this and
Yeah.
understands. Okay, look, the poor teachers in America, we treat our teachers, okay, not like they should be treated. A lot of these teachers, and I'm saying definitely at the grammar school level, have to buy a lot of their own supplies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's
These
when it's
teachers
sad.
that are bringing drones into the classroom, how much you want to bet, Herman, where those drones are coming from?
Yeah,
Right?
well, it starts from their own pocket.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
But know a few guys that are doing
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, Tony.
You know,
Okay.
Look, Tony Frankie Reed, right?
Yeah.
He invested in a
even-
bunch of telos
even
and
Centroid up
software
in
packages
Syracuse.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But getting back to the story, STEM, this particular part of that AOPA is getting into STEM, initiating STEM. There are 8,000 students that have already participated and passed the curriculum for going into 2021 school year. And once they pass, they can take one of two pathways that are learned. One is an FAA private pilot for a drone company, or you get your remote pilot knowledge test recognition. So you're getting either your 107 and or both of these. But you come out of there, they will be coming out of high school able to fly for a drone company, a drone delivery company, and I think that's kind of interesting.
Lawrence,
No
hold
one
a
else is
second.
ready to do it right now, if you think about it.
Hold
right?
on. We got Jay Santiago in the chat.
Hey, Jay Santiago, what's good, man?
What's up? What's up, Jay?
I mean, Tom, the kids
Look,
today,
they
Herman
got
was
us
telling
beat. You know why? Because they also have, like their major will be drone pilot that they come out, but they got a minor in video games. Okay.
Well,
So
see,
so
that's
realize
what we
these
were talking
kids
about
are
before.
already have muscle memory, already have the ability to adapt what their experiences are. And the younger you can get these kids involved, the younger those traits get mapped out in them, and the
Tom,
desire to expand that gets
I'm
mapped
glad
out.
you said that because that's exactly that's the exact way the college programs work.
The ones that work, exactly. Okay, but we don't apply that across the board. We want to apply this cookie cutter. Hey, we're going to teach you how to
Hey,
take a
Travels
test.
with Rosie, welcome.
Okay, we're going to have you we'll teach you how to take a test. We won't teach you how to apply any of that knowledge. And while we're at it, we won't even teach you about financial responsibility. So if you do make it in the world, there's another road you got to go down. Okay.
Well,
So-
you'll at least know how to take care of your bills.
Well, look, at the end of the day, guys, that's freaking important. Okay. Financial health is not tied to wealth.
No, it's not.
Two different
But
things.
AOPA's foundation right now.
AOPA is an organization of professional aviation members from all walks. Pilots, from military to ATP, air transport pilots, to private pilots. Okay. They make insurance available to private pilots
they've
at
already
lower rates. They provide educational opportunities. They provide legal support. Okay. So here's an organization of aviation professionals that, guys, one of the takeaways to take from this is they see value in UAV. They see value in the use of drones. Okay. Now, don't think that's a typical approach, because we all know, and some of us who have had our feet on both sides of it, know that's been a struggle. So it's great to see AOPA come out and support this type of initiative.
Can I give
Because-
this little fact?
Because we're coming back to the same place. Aviation is aviation is aviation. Doesn't matter whether it's manned or unmanned, right?
Well,
It's
Tom,
aviation.
I was just looking, I was reading one part of this story, and it brought up a question about how many high schools on the average are there in the United States. Well, if you didn't know that question, it seems to say that there are 24,000 high schools across the United States. AOPA from the year 2020 to 2021 used their curriculum to teach people how to fly drones and drone tech or apply for the 107 in 200 schools across 38 states. So it is growing. I wish it to hell it would be in New York already. I'd love to see some people in New York learning how to do this too, but
There's
well,
already
the trickle
programs
down
in New
effect.
York. There's already
There's a trickle
programs in
down
New York.
effect.
well,
What
see,
happened?
here's the thing, and this is how crazy the Department of Education is.
Hey, Brand
That
Ariels.
something like that happens, it goes straight to wherever it's already being done.
Yeah, Ray, you're right. These kids
Exactly, Ray.
could end up
Exactly,
with
Ray.
nice careers.
When we
Okay,
start
nice
talking
careers.
about, like Tom had mentioned about automotive, you have the
Mhm.
same thing going on at Grady. But if you look
Yeah.
at two programs and look
Yeah.
at the students that they funnel into automotive as opposed to the students that are funneled into Grady, big difference.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
And the limitations that exist, right? So you have a high school like Aviation High School in Long
Which will
Island City,
probably
Queens.
get that funding.
Right. It's that's the mainstay of that high school, right? You get a vocational education. You also get a Regents diploma,
Mhm.
but they can only let in X number of students a year. The
True.
demand to get into one of those schools is as high as it is to get into the specialty science schools.
Well, if you remember, it
And
used
and
to
and
be
they
like that, Tom,
but
back
they
in the
don't
day.
yeah, but Herman, they're not investing at the local level. When I look,
True.
so that's like saying, hey, forget about the local high schools. I'm only going to invest in the regional high school, in this case, the aviation high school, which is that, in our world, the aviation nucleus of vocational training, right? No, they gotta, yes, that of course is a specialty school, no doubt about it. But put these programs, scale these programs down for a smaller population, student size, and offer them at those local school levels as well. Okay.
Mhm.
And also offer a couple of seats for sophomores and juniors to come into Aviation High School.
You're going to have someone in these schools to teach these programs,
Yes.
teach these
Yeah.
classes,
Which
teach anything.
this is where funding has to be allocated. Okay. You don't have to attract the kids to these programs. I'm telling you, you don't have to. What
No,
you have to do
have them.
is put the resources in place to have the program in the
Yeah, you
first
have to
place.
have them.
These
Yeah.
kids will line up. They'll line up. So that's telling you something right there. Okay.
You have
You know,
to have the
that
program.
we owe that to these kids.
I
Mhm.
agree with
Where all this stuff is coming out, guys. What are we going to do? We're
you.
just going to
I agree.
we're foisting it on them and going, keep it running.
Yeah, so they can sit
Okay.
around and go, "Oh, wow, what's that?" We don't know
Well,
anything
it
about that.
will be a country, and guys, I know we got guys from all over the world, guys and girls from all over the world here, but I'm talking about where I'm a citizen here in the United States. The United States will just become a community of consumers with we lose a GMP,
Unfortunately,
we got a problem. At
Yeah,
some
but
point in time, we
unfortunately,
can't
it's
afford
pretty
to
that
be
bad.
consumers
the
anymore.
poverty gap
Okay.
going and going.
Yeah,
hey, JC Fine.
we have to be a center for innovation in this country, or we got to give other countries a good run for their money, at least. Okay.
Exactly.
We got to be more like the Scandinavian countries when it comes to education.
You mean, Tom, we need to invest more in ourselves instead of investing in equipment. Then when we get bored with it, selling it to third world countries?
Well, why don't we try this instead? Why don't we try to, when we get tired of our technology, guys, why don't we start donating our stuff to schools? How about that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That would
And you
make
know
a lot
what?
of sense.
the thought, this isn't the first time the thought popped in my head, but you know, if you're fortunate enough to itemize your taxes, think about it, because you could donate that drone, okay, that you might have, what, the new drone's coming out, because you know the value on your drone is dropping
Thanks,
dramatically.
Ray Kelly.
But if you donate that to a school, by the way, guys, Uncle Sam lets you take off the retail value of that drone for the most part.
Hey, if you
Less a
haven't
little
seen,
bit of
haven't seen
depreciation.
the video yet, Ray Kelly did a video of the meetup yesterday. I told him to post the link.
Thanks, Ray.
Drone
I
site.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Drone Psych, post the video that you posted. Drone Bum, if you're still here, do the same thing. You guys click on the link, save it for watch later, and come on back to the stream.
All I
That would
ever
help
do,
us.
guys, my little trick is I control and click on the link. That opens it up in a new tab, and then just pause it there, and you got it to go back to later.
Yeah, see, when you're streaming, Tom, like I cannot click on that link.
No, please
because
don't, because I blame you for my my going through the revolving door coming into the stream tonight. So I think you were going full screen as I was trying to come in, I think, right?
Oh, I don't know what happened, but I'm like, wait a minute, Tom's trying to come in again. I didn't get it.
I wound up getting thrown out the door again, and I came back in.
Oh,
It was successful
okay.
the second time.
All right, we got another story here. There's a company in France called Thales, Thales. And like most countries in today's world, if you're not investing in some kind of drone or drone tech or something in that field or in that general area, you're going to be left behind. They are French defense and aerospace group that have announced they have a new VTOL that can fly missions up to 100 kilometers per hour uncrewed, and is compliant with the European Special Condition Light Unmanned Aircraft Systems regulations for future drone flights, because they're going to be classifying these drones. There's going to be light, medium, and of course heavyweight drones. This classifies them to fit under the light unmanned aircraft systems category. It is a fixed wing that can fly from 100 to 200 kilometer missions. They just passed their flight on June 12th. UAS 100 craft passed. June 12th first says development of Haskell prototype. Okay, so they plan on making it bigger. I didn't read that part of the story.
Yes, they
This
are.
was a half-scale prototype of it. I missed that for some reason.
No, Lawrence, actually, no, what you were saying is correct, but if you check it out, they plan to take flight with the full-size version of it at the UAV show in Bordeaux on October, on the 19th to the 21st.
Later, Matt. Right. Well, go ahead.
As far as this one here is concerned, when it's all said and done in their full version of it, they expect to double that distance.
Yeah.
Right. I actually have a picture of the actual drone that they did the testing. Now, this is not a full-size version of the drone. This is definitely not. It's a prototype. They tested it, and I'm actually noticing an FPV antenna right here on the nose of it. So the fact that they have this FPV antenna and a dipole antenna here, which they usually use in long range. If you fly FPV, you usually want a dipole antenna on your bird, but this is it, and they plan on making it a lot bigger. How much bigger? Who the hell knows? But I wanted to show they're not just getting into hold on. Let me get to the part that I was reading earlier.
Lawrence, you're talking about something that they're planning is just another. We talk about distance and time with these flights. It's a fixed wing. So,
right.
That's one thing we've learned about distance and time in these drones is fixed wing. But, they're looking at using this thing for surveillance, inspection, and security purpose, for commercial and military operations.
Remember, 100 to 200 kilometer distance Okay, well, you know, what are we talking about? Maybe 60
62.
to 120 miles.
Yeah,
Okay, doesn't have to be away from you.
straight right.
It
It's
could be circling and
you know,
and getting those ticks on the odometer. Okay, so the bird can basically stay aloft for 2 to 3 hours. It
Well,
appears
they're talking about the
with
full
the
size
capability.
version. Well, the full size version will be ready in the second half of 2022. But I was trying to get actual video footage of this bird and this craft and the test and could not. But I was able to get footage of what their Dale's possibly urban mobility system would look like. Now, this is a mock video to show that they are also getting into the passenger drone part of this as well. And I thought this was interesting because this is a command center and that runs air taxis, etc. I did watch most of the video, and it shows how you can order from your tablet. Now, if I pause it here, this screen right here, you can see
yeah,
these are
it's
more
similar
than
setup.
likely. Keep in mind, this is all simulated, but these are more than likely passenger drones here. And this whole command center basically will be something that people will be applying for jobs for. So you don't have to actually go for a job flying these drones. This lady supposedly ordered a drone taxi from her tablet while walking around. UTM automated, keyword, unmanned traffic management system monitored. So get used to hearing the word UTM. You're going to see all kinds of stuff, maybe not this particular bird itself, but you're going to start seeing systems being developed. And we have them here in the United States being developed and corridors for all of this stuff to work. So just think about this the same way you order Uber Eats and all of that stuff. We'll be old and gray when we're doing it, but there'll come a time and point. I'll take this video and post it in the
I
chat.
wouldn't be so sure about that, Lawrence, because the Paris
Well,
game,
2022 and 2023, they're already talking about, there are
right?
companies
But
we
the
did
Paris
stories on.
game, they plan to have drone flight at the Paris games, so we shall see.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be really real interesting. I'm more so interested in seeing not so much these prototypes. I want to see actual working stuff
Well,
because
Ehang, your company,
see, I wasn't going to bring them up, but thank you for bringing them up.
Lilium pretty much has a working drone. Is
Yes,
just
they do have a working drone and system that they
and
sell with the drone.
you know what else? I mean, in the cargo realms, Pipistrel has a drone that's ready to go.
That's true. Pipistrel. What's the one for Matternet also?
Well, Matternet is already a proven airline that's working with UPS.
Yeah. So it's just a matter now. If you notice, at the beginning of the year 2021, we were saying around 2022, 2023. Well, in 6 months, it'll be 2022. And there are companies that plan on launching the second half of 2022. There are companies that plan on launching in the first quarter of 2023. So those are just right around the corner.
Well, you're already on to the second phase of the FAA's project, what Beyond. So
yeah, you're right.
let's see where the rest of these, because it's always been a bunch of partnerships throughout this time, and one feed one, each one teach one. Your old African proverb that you like to speak.
You're 100% right, Herman.
That's what's been happening. And if you look at this, this aircraft here is the same thing as the drone in the box solutions. So it's a different package.
Which leads into the next story that we'll be doing about an American-based company. It's an American-based company called American Robotics, and they sell the entire package. What I mean by they sell the entire package, they have a drone in a box system that does everything from, I need to go to their website to look at this information so I can have it properly quoted properly. But everything from scout to scout base to scout viewing. What I mean by scout viewing, you can actually do surveillance with infrared, etc. Everything from AI-powered autonomy, self-charging, self-planning, data analysis, edge computing, cloud link, precision landing, and ruggedized housing. What that means, I do not know. Don't even ask.
Tough book.
Ruggedized housing means that it's
Tough
built to
book,
take a beating. It's
hard case.
crash tolerant.
Okay.
To a degree.
Okay. Well, American Robotics, they plan on getting into the bulk materials industry. Bulk materials meaning gas, mining, infrastructure, anything that involves large scale counting, where you have to count inventory. According to this story, they say there are 300 companies in 48 countries around the world select American Robotics Scout System to build an automated system for them. For example, if you have a mine, the problem with most mines around the world is there's so much loss because they cannot calculate how much they're losing, how much is falling out of a truck or whatever. So what they plan on with this drone in a box is they can actually do a 3D map of the entire mine. And as the mine gets deeper and wider, they can tell how much mass they're moving, as opposed to trying to do it visually by eye.
So their scout program basically, so you have, say you're a sheep farmer in New Zealand, okay? And you have 25,000 head of sheep. And you have an area of, you know, 70, 80, 90,000 acres, and you want to keep track of them. Well, you can have these scout boxes on your property, and you can have one or you can have multiple. And as they're automated, without automation. What does it mean? Without human intervention, right? So these things can take off, go do their survey,
Big man,
and they can send data. Data is the key here. Data is where the money is. Okay. So the data being either how the purchase is made and all the logistics and how to do that as efficiently as possible, because the cost of goods is the cost of goods. Your cost, your last mile shipping, all of that is where it gets really expensive. So when you shrink that, you make more money. Here, when you can count and be more efficient and know where your commodities are, well, these things can work in concert with each other also. So say now we take that one scenario and we go to the petrochemical industry, where there's a field of pipes and interconnects and processing equipment and all this stuff. And these things can be flying autonomously and talking to one another. Okay. Again, collecting data and sending that data, uploading that data to the cloud so it can be analyzed and actioned. Okay.
Tom, you're right.
That's the sequence. Capture, analyze, and action.
You're right. You mentioned like counting the head of sheep and stuff like that. We were talking about another story once about counting the cattle, and
absolutely
something like this can also be placed in places like Con Edison, these power plants,
Department of Interior.
That we're worrying about, surveillance on, and they can actually, surveil these areas.
Well, this is what
autonomously.
Department of Interior has been using it for these purposes, for several years now. And unfortunately, the only thing that's thwarted them was the grounding of a good portion of their fleet. Okay. But Department of Interior has been using it to count trees, to do herd counts in national parks. So don't think drones don't fly over national parks.
Anything that can be done on a large scale, Tom. They're saying
solar farms,
oil, gas, infrastructure, and industries. Right now, American Robotics, they claim that just in 6 months, they've increased full-time employees by 90%, and the headcount is expected to grow at a similar rate from 2021 going into 2022. They're selling systems that will be in the drone community considered work robots.
Okay.
Meaning you can take a box, like they said, if you needed to count your sheep, it will go out randomly or through a schedule and count those sheep. Okay, you
Yeah.
know, during a certain time of the day, the sheep are in this part of the field, and a certain time of the day, it's over here.
Right.
Once you teach this autonomous system, which is strictly AI, what to do, it will plan its own course, come back.
Self-charging,
Yep, self-charging. It will
self-planning.
do everything autonomously.
Okay.
Now, the
Helps
same
with the
thing,
data analysis by knowing what to stream and when.
but
Then
the
you have
same
the edge
applies.
computing at the cloud element, right? And this thing comes back home when it needs to. So guys, when you were having trouble flying and you had signal losses when we were flying at Calvert this weekend, what your saving grace was, return to home. These things have it built in and can self-sense when they need to return to home.
Yep.
So the technology's there. It's leveraging the technology, right?
Tom, once again, we talk about counting sheep and
Yeah.
herding. Now,
Right.
the one thing that we also talk about is software. Now, there's software out there that is used with these drones that can identify each individual sheep or
Yes.
cow, calf, whatever, by its
Yes.
identifying marks.
By
Exactly.
its,
And even
all it needs to do is have a collar on, okay, with near field technology in it. And as the drone flies over, the sheep check in, right? So hey, so let me ask you guys a question. What in inclement weather, why is it difficult to launch and fly manned aircraft? What's the problem? Right?
You
Doesn't
said
it come
manned
down?
aircraft?
Yeah. So, you have situations where, it'd be great to get a bird's eye view, but because of weather conditions, like, you go to do a search for kids lost in the
Right.
woods, people lost, right? And oh, we have to ground that air operation because of inclement weather coming in, right?
Right.
Right.
Well, the real concern there is what? The
Well,
safety
life.
of the air crew, right?
Right.
Because it's manned aircraft. Well, guess what we take out of the equation here? Okay.
Man.
So
Man.
here is that portion when you talked about ruggedized housing, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it has an IP rating. I checked into it. It's got an IP rating. So IP is a universal standard for ingress protection. Okay. And that's based on whether dust can get in. So you get a grade depending on like some laptops or tablets. Like we use ruggedized tablets, in public
Right.
safety.
I've seen them.
They use them
They
for
have the super
EMS,
strong
right?
auto
Well, they
box
use them
casing.
for EMS to do their patient contact reports and stuff.
Yeah.
And these things have to get, in all kinds of weather, snow, sleet, hail, you name it, right? Well, the same thing here. Now, here's a drone that can fly in inclement weather. Now, heavy winds, torrential downpour, that might be another thing. But just
Right.
flying in regular rain or a light snowfall.
Right. A light
This is an
drizzle or a light
aircraft
snow.
that
It
can
can
do it.
handle it.
And you take away the major safety concern was for the crew on board. Because if we're talking about, finding your lost sheep out there and the storm's coming in, this is a good way to do that, right?
But I like the story because they don't just talk about our
Had lamb
infrastructure,
chops, I
which
think,
is a
for that.
major problem in the United States. Our entire infrastructure is starting to fail, bridges, all of this. But now you can have a company, inspection company, get a few of these drone in the boxes. I put the link from American Robotics so you guys can see or read more of what they do. But now you can have a company pull up a truck and drop this box off, sync it up to whatever system it needs to be synced to, and show it the perimeter of the bridge, and it will do randomized inspections, or it'll check a certain place that may have been an issue point before. Or
You can build all those data points into it, so that it knows the structure, the 3D
Right,
placement
right.
of that
Well,
structure
I'm
in the
sure when
environment and how to inspect it, right?
I'm sure while installing this program, you do have to set certain parameters. Like, for example, if this is your property, you have to put point A, point B, point C, point D, patrol everything in between it. or
This
inspect
is
something
what
on
a company
on the
like
upper right-hand
American
corner.
Robotics does, though. This
Yeah.
is what you're talking about. Okay.
Yes, 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 and I'd like to see it in action. I want to see some of this stuff. We've seen videos and things, but I mean, I would like to see it in person, to be honest, because this technology today in today's times, who would have thought drones would have been launching by themselves? I mean, everyone saw Terminator, and that's Hollywood.
Come
But
on, man. If you read, okay, uh, one of our favorite science magazines, right? Come on, Popular Mechanics, man.
yes,
Wasn't
I
this
grew up on
featured in
Popular
1986?
Mechanics.
Okay.
I grew up. That was one of my favorite magazines.
If
Popular
you go back, you know what? You're right, Lawrence. If you go back and look at old Popular Science and Popular Mechanic magazines,
all of that stuff we're doing now.
it's
We're doing all of that stuff
yeah,
now, Tom.
yeah.
You're 100% right.
I know.
I remember seeing a picture. Now, this was in the late 70s. I saw a picture in a magazine of a car with a swooped back that came all the way back to the rear and a little tiny ducktail at the end. You know what that car was? A Trans Am, a Camaro, a Firebird. You remember how big and bulky our cars were?
Dude, rock crawling vehicles. I own one now, right? I mean,
Yeah,
okay,
that's true.
parked in a garage in Queens. Go
Yeah.
figure. You know, but no, I need that to go from if you've ever driven Myrtle Avenue
What's up, Big
from
Mac?
Wyckoff to Broadway Junction,
Okay.
you really need a high clearance vehicle these days. Okay.
Well, if you've ever driven in the Calvert Vaux Park to the airfield, you need one too.
Oh, did you see that, man? Did you get some overhead views of that?
No,
That
I
not a
had
disaster
down,
scene?
Tom, I had down low views. We were wondering, someone said, hey, why did they pull over? I said, watch this guy's car. There's a bottom out spot there. There's a bottom out spot. And the guy's car.
Yeah, but we make it even more interesting. We fill them all with water. So you really don't know how deep they are. Okay. Even me with my truck yesterday, when I first flew over it, I said, holy man, that looks like fun over it. Then I went, yeah, I don't know how deep that is. Okay, so but boy, yeah, that was a horror show yesterday. We luckily that's why guys, I was saying not to have the meat back there. Okay.
Yeah. That's totally
where we had. I mean, that's a great spot to have a
puddle,
meat, by the way.
But Tom, every puddle there,
Yeah.
it was like, how low can you go?
Yeah, I know.
Because you had no idea how deep
I
it
would have
was.
had back injuries by the time they got back.
By the time you got through there, yeah, I know. Yeah,
I'm glad the
a
guys
few bent
got a
chassis.
I'm glad Ray Kelly, JSK, and Drone Bum got a chance to walk to that section over there and fly. Because I mentioned Ray Kelly, Tom. I was like, hey, Ray Kelly, today you're gonna fly a little further than you usually do. And he looked at me and said, no, I'm not.
Yeah, that's a nice little cutout over there. They had fun over there.
It is.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah, I went over there.
I understand because people
with the guys over there.
Yeah.
People fly different. There were guys that came to the meetup that said, look, I'm comfortable with flying a little closer to the sub. I would like to have line of sight and stuff that
realize, man, what we're throwing at people.
You hear that? You hear Eddie Nunez? The night meetup should be next.
Yeah.
I agree, Eddie. I agree.
You know what?
The thing is that we threw another curve at him here with this meetup, right? Not we take it for granted flying over water, guys. Okay. We live on an island, so we take it for granted.
Thank you, JSK. Okay. That's true. He said he liked we had the meetup. There was less bugs. Well, there were less bugs once we put some bug spray on.
And the grill
I'd like to thank Justin
for bringing the bug spray.
Yeah. It's good seeing Justin, man. I haven't seen Justin
to the store, and he brought back some things. And one thing that I was stressing every time I mentioned a meetup: bring bug spray, bring bug spray, bring this, bring bug spray. And what did I not
put
bring?
It on your pre-flight checklist, guys. Bug spray should be in your gear bag anyway.
I used to have a cannon bag, Tom.
Dude, you gotta maintain control over your aircraft, okay? You got a mosquito singing you a song in your ear. You're not going to be focused on flying. So
I worry more
bug spray
about those
and sunscreen
those things
in your bag.
That bite you on your ankles.
Yeah. Ray Kelly, he experienced the green fly bites because until Justin brought back that bug spray,
Mhm.
they were eating Ray Kelly alive, man. And you know,
Well,
Tom,
it's those
how it
legs,
is.
man. How could you resist those legs, dude? Right?
Did I don't know if Ray Kelly and JSK is still in the
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
They're
they're
still
there.
there
there.
was some bugs over there by the little cutout. Thousands of them. I don't know what they were,
Yeah.
but they look
The
like the
gnats.
size
Those
of
were
a
the.
quarter.
Yeah. Oh, really? That big?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, and they were
He said
flying
the
around
bugs were
low
flying-
level.
JSK said the bugs were flying around Herman like they were going to rob him.
Herman
I
was
didn't know
looking quite
what those
delicious
were.
yesterday.
I brought the drone down low, and they cleared path.
Well,
They
you
came
know
at
what?
the- They
They
came at the
realized they were looking at Chef Herman yesterday. Okay.
But you know what?
So,
Herman
so
had
he
bugs.
had that little bit of barbecue glaze going on
Oh
too.
yeah,
So
right. He had the
he was
barbecue
prime real
smoke
estate.
and everything.
Yeah, he was all smoky.
But I'm so glad I got a chance to eat a hamburger after everybody left. You know, we had plenty of stuff. We could have put more stuff on the grill, but I'm actually glad Herman didn't because Courtney Darlington went to the meetup at 8 o'clock straight after work yesterday, right? So by the time he got to our meetup, they were a little tired. But you can tell after a few people ate, they kind of sat down on the bench and chilled out. And Courtney
They were
had his
zoning.
shades on, and I
Yeah.
would swear almost for a few seconds, if not a few minutes, he was asleep and nobody knew
So don't
because he did.
that
He
guy's
didn't.
not flying FPV. He's flying in his sleep.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I was just going to say that. Yeah. Where's Eddie? Eddie would say that Courtney usually
Irish.
sleeps when he flies.
But we had fun. Everybody who came over, and we appreciate you guys seriously for coming from the other meetup and coming by and showing support and bringing Tony over there. He got to fly the yellow submarine, and you know, we take it for granted. It's like the Statue of Liberty. Someone says, "Have you ever been to Statue of Liberty?" I say, "No," and they're like, "Are you crazy? You live in New York and you know?" I said, "I live 2 train stops from Aqueduct Racetrack. I've never been to a racetrack either."
Well, we do have photos of Lady Liberty's nose hair, right? I mean, so
Well,
if you want to
yeah,
get
we
up
do.
close
There
and
are.
personal.
Well, we have a personal photographer in the group.
Hey, show
Right.
just said USDA Prime Herman.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Statue of Liberty's personal photographer is in 5 boroughs.
Yes, absolutely.
This is true. Well, there's 2 of them because the latest video I saw was of the inside of the right arm with the torch coming down on the
And the
torch and the
fingerprint
inside
swirl?
of the yes, on the inside of the arm like this
Uh-huh.
coming down. There's no
Towel
way
or
in
no
hell you
towel?
can tell me. There's no way in hell you can't tell me it was zoomed in. I'm sorry.
Lawrence, talc or no talc?
I stopped watching the video because I didn't want to be a part of it and a supporter. I mean, I looked at it for the first few seconds in amazement and was like, "This is ridiculous."
Yeah, I'm
This has
amazed
gotta
by
stop.
those videos too, but I unfortunately, yeah,
We
pointed my,
digress.
I'd like to know how some of them actually get done, but hey.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see the behind the scenes, but you know, you can't put out those behind the scenes because somebody's going to figure out who, what, and where. But
Well,
yeah, no, you know, look, I like to
So-
see all those
so,
images,
Tom,
but
did you-
I'm not,
did
I'm
you
not
get
my
it?
brother's keeper.
Did you get a chance to take any pictures yesterday? I know you came in and flew and relaxed and
Well,
I
yeah,
didn't know.
I took that. Didn't I share
that
one
shot is
earlier?
the submarine.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
took
yeah,
a
the
shot
yellow
of
submarine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah. No,
Okay.
you know, yeah, I'll look at the video a little later. You know, but I just had a good time relaxing. Okay,
Mhm.
shooting the breeze. Good time, just a good time with the people. Man.
That's what,
The
to be
community.
honest,
Yeah, that's
You know
what
what?
happened.
It's a relaxing environment.
Oh, you
People are
see what Eddie put?
supportive.
Yeah, Eddie put Ortel Evo Pal.
Yes, there. We, you know, they were representing. Okay, so
Well, yes, son, Victor Perez, he takes some nice pictures in NYC Fibero.
Yeah,
was my
Victor
first
had
time
the
meeting him.
Evo. Yeah,
My first time
yeah,
meeting him. He had the 6K Evo 2 there yesterday. That was my
right.
first time seeing it up close
Yeah,
and personal. And I'm
it's
glad they
big.
actually changed the design of it from the Evo 1, because everyone was calling the Evo 1 the flying orange brick because it was so squared off. But this one, now that I've
It
actually
has
seen,
rounded edges, but it's still big, man.
yeah, yeah.
It's a big
But
drone.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
I mean,
I
I
didn't
think
know it was so big.
it's a nice sturdy piece of machinery.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
now I found out also there is somebody who watches our live stream, and they came and asked me yesterday, how come we have not discussed this topic? And I must honestly say, and like I'm gonna tell you, the viewers and listeners out there, the same thing I told him. He asked me how come, or what's happening, how come we haven't discussed, or how come we don't discuss the Mavic 3. And I'm telling you the same thing that I told him, which was until I see a patent for the Mavic 3, I won't believe it.
I mean, I, no, I mean, we can discuss it, but what is there really to discuss?
Well, see, that's what I was talking with him about. I said, well, to be honest, there were a few leaked
Couple of
pictures, and you
pictures,
know
and we
what
talked
happens
about
with
that.
leaked pictures.
We
Most of them
mentioned that
just
they were
get
leaked
discredited.
pictures. Right, but we mentioned that there were a few leaked pictures. We talked about the Mavic 3 extensively from what was leaked, as far as the rumors of the cameras on
Right,
the end of the arms,
right, the
uninverted,
inverted
motors.
motors.
We talked about all of those things. We talked about even the fact that we may see a Micro Four Third sensor on this drone. We talked about all of these things, and we even had our own wish list.
True.
We,
That is
we
true.
talk about this.
Well, it was just strange because the guy, he was like, I couldn't remember his name, but I was like, hey, my name is Lawrence, and there's a Mini 3 coming with sensors before the MP3. Well, Eddie,
The Mini 3.
the Mini 3, yeah, they did
Well,
mention something about a Mini 3 possibly
I've
coming,
heard, but
and
let's see.
Ray and Ray Hall
First.
be ecstatic to know that if the MP3 comes out at the end of the year, I will hear him from Brooklyn going, yes, yes, because I know he's been waiting for the MP3 to come out, and he did predict that by midsummer or by the end of this year, they
End
would
of the
come
year.
out with
If
something.
it's going to come out end of the year.
I will not believe
let's see what
anything
happens in November.
until I see
Yeah.
a.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Look,
in
we all
November.
have our dreams and desires, and if there's going to be
True.
something to discuss, then what we should do is what's on your wish list, what's on mine.
Let's see
Okay.
what happens in November.
And then let's see what happens. I mean, we all have a wish list, right? Why am I going to drop down
That's
a
true.
boatload of cash?
That's
Unless
true.
it's going to
You're
give
right.
me.
You're right. But I would.
Look, if it
to
looks
be
better in a
honest,
bathing suit,
They can't
it's
come
still
with,
going to cost me more money, right?
They can't
Come
come
on.
with a 1-inch sensor and
Tom,
4K 60. That's done
Tom,
already.
I'm going with Herman's wish list, and
That's a
he
given.
didn't
That's a
say
given.
Herman didn't say that this was his wish list, but I believe deep down inside it is, and I have to go with him. And he said if they were to ever come out with a 10-year, 15-year anniversary Phantom.
Well, let's see what happens.
You see Tom's face, he's
November.
like, oh God, I gotta go.
You
I'm
got
feeling
2 more
nauseous.
years to wait for the 10-year one then.
Let's
Well,
wait and see what happens
Yeah.
13.
with
Come on, it was on my trivia questions. Come
with
on,
the
2013.
And,
Look,
and why don't you ask that trivia question, Tom, to the people in the chat?
let's wait
Stand
and
by.
see what happens in November.
Okay, we'll throw a few of them out there. Just give me a second. I'm going to hop off. 1 second. I'll go grab them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
let's
enjoying
see
my
what happens
P4
in November
V2. Should
with
have
that.
brought it a long time ago. Eddie Nunez, till present day, Eddie, I have to say that, and I have not flown the Evo or other birds. I have flown the Mavic 2 Pro. I've flown the Mavic 2 Zoom, but till today, present day, the workhorse of all the drones out there is still the Phantom 4 V2, dude.
Well, the
27
Phantom 4 Pro period. That camera.
And I have a 1-inch
nothing to be
sensor.
said.
have a 1-inch sensor. Okay. And this Air 2S, I'm happy. I'm happy with the higher resolution as well. You know, we got about 7 minutes left, Tom.
Okay.
This is
What
for you
does
guys in the chat. You can answer
right?
this really. These were
So,
questions that he had
so
yesterday.
guys, those
Right, Big Mac.
those that were in yesterday, I'll throw one out there at the end, okay, that I didn't hit yesterday. So, but I'll throw a couple out real quick, and some of it's trivia from the show, such as what company started drone deliveries in Rwanda in the year 2016? Okay.
Oh, I know. Yeah, quick
Can't
question.
answer that one, Lawrence.
I know. That's
Now, I'm
one of
glad
those.
I glad I met up with you in the parking lot, Leonard. Leonard wasn't sure whether he was in the right spot when I popped out of the truck. He was like, "Oh, yep, this is it." So, the company that started making drone deliveries in 2016 was Lawrence.
Zipline.
Zipline. Yep.
Zipline, yes.
Now,
Yes.
here
done
was
multiple
one.
stories.
Here is one that threw a lot of people a curve. Okay. And the question was, in what year was the company DJI conceived? Now, here are the heads that were there yesterday. Okay. They thought when I used the term conceived, it was when the inventor of the company was born. No, that wasn't the question I was asking. I was asking about the company. When was the
Right.
company conceived? Okay. And the company was conceived in 2006, but they didn't come out with their first consumer drone, which was the Phantom 1, until 2013. So it took them a while to deliver on that first drone. But in the amount of time, okay, 7 years elapsed, okay, between when the company started to the release of their first consumer drone. But look at what's happened in only the last 8 years, going from a Phantom 1 to a whole suite of aircraft, with the latest being released, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tom, that's what I was telling you. In 16, they had the sticker when you purchased the Phantom. Or you purchased the
10-year
Phantom,
sticker.
it had a 10-year anniversary sticker on it.
Yeah. And that was, look, like any company, they took them some time as a startup to get the technology down, to put the supply line in place, to, get everything in place. So, 7 years it took them to release their first product. But man, they've, everything from the M series commercial platform drones, okay, to all the consumer drones we have. And of course, the ones we're still pining for, which we know are all probably already in production, but we're already trying to beat each other up about what those features are going to be.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So the other one that threw everybody for a curve was the first question I asked, which was, when was the first recorded use of a drone? And
there were numbers all over.
Numbers all over, going from 1903, when the Wright brothers, okay, all the way to, I think, the 80s.
Didn't JSK get that answer right?
He came the closest by guessing.
Okay.
Because remember, whoever came the closest, he guessed the Wright brothers the same year he asked.
Hello, RC cars.
1903. But it was actually much, much earlier. It was in 1849 when the Austrians were attacking Venice, and they were using unmanned balloons stuffed with explosives. And while they were besieging Venice. So they launched about 200 of those during the attack.
Wow.
Okay. So that was the first recorded use of a drone. But that's some of the questions we had yesterday. We gave out some stickers and stuff. You know, what we'll do is we'll come up with a couple of contest questions coming up.
Right,
Okay.
to give away that stuff.
We can
Yeah,
give
that would
away
be-
some
that would
stuff.
be
We'll
great.
talk about the giveaway, what's in the prize, you know,
And
what's in the prize sack
and
in
what we can
another
do-
show.
What we can
But,
do, Tom, is find out how many people have a Mavic Mini, how many people have this,
yeah.
you know, because that way the people who have a Mavic Mini would have a better chance. I don't want to give a pair of filters for a Mavic Mini for someone who has a Mavic Air.
No. We got a ton of different stuff, and we got stuff that will appeal to everybody. Okay. And so, you know, a couple items in the bag that might be drone specific. Yeah, we'll toss that up during an online question or something like that to the Mavic Mini users. And you know, maybe you can win one of those Mavic Mini centric prizes.
Right.
But we have other stuff too. We have little Cinewhoops and stuff like that in the prize package.
Right. Now
the sack of prizes.
Unfortunately, it's come to that magic time where we must go.
Okay.
Don't forget to check out. First of all, thank you all again, ever so much from me, Tom, Herman, whoever was involved in yesterday's meetups across New York, because there were like 4 or 5 meetups yesterday, and some people attended all of them, some people attended one, some people attended 2. We thank you all for showing New York support.
Just before you go anywhere, did you guys happen to catch some of the pictures from that 5 p.m. meetup at IKEA Park? X put on some show there, man. You got to go check out the setup he had.
I heard they had laptops out
hats
there.
Off. Hey, hats off to Xavier. He looked like he pulled it off last night. He had a screen set up for everybody. He had tables.
Well, I heard him going, man. He was he had a video where he was telling guys to, to bring their laptops, download certain things, and he asked guys to bring, there's something we're going to set up some tables and stuff like that, so guys could do what they had to do. I didn't hear him say that.
So like you said, Lawrence, good meetups across the city yesterday.
One thing I wanted to say before we get out back to the the Mavic
thanks, Michael,
that everybody's wishing on. That drone is now becoming like your favorite local sports team. You wish every athlete that was ever great that was on it is on it. And just like you want everything that a drone or a camera could ever have is on it, and it becomes now a drone that no one can afford and no one can afford to build. So
exactly. I want the perfect tire. Can't afford the perfect tire.
Let's just hope that we get something that's a couple of steps better than what we have now. Yep. And guys can enjoy something that comes out, and like I said, it's gonna be a good flying camera, but let's see what we get. Let's wait until the patents come out.
And you know what?
Yes.
They'll still line up.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly.
Like you're right. Every Apple phone, they'll still line up.
And with that being said, we'll see you guys again on Wednesday.
Don't forget to check out Herman Wednesday night, the Fly for Fun show with Ray Kelly, Johnny Drone Flyer. You have the Fly Zone Drone crew. They come on.
Looking forward to that list they're putting together so we can keep track of all these shows.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
You got a television guide for you.
Yes, the TV guide. The TV guide, baby. I'm waiting for my copy. Yep.
Be safe.
We should
fly
find a way to
safer.
flash that all the time on YouTube.
Yes, they should, right?
And this ends another episode of
Those guys. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Oh, wow. I hit end on the wrong one. Okay, there we go. I almost
I hear
on the Zoom.